NYC Black Pride takes place August 17th through 21st here in the great New York City. And we're here with 3 of the committee members to talk about the upcoming events. I'm with
Blondell,
Lee Soulja, and we're ready to start Xtravaganza.
So the first question I wanted to ask you was why you feel the need to have a Black Pride when we already had a Pride in June.
Okay, so Black Pride arose around the country, not just here in New York, just for the need for us to celebrate or kind of reclaim the history of where Pride started in the beginning. And we were kind of being written out of the narrative of a movement that we started. So you have to go back to Stonewall and think about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and Stormy DeLavery. These are people of color that actually started the Stonewall movement. But when you see the parade and the marches and everything that's happening, it's kind of like we've been taken out of the narrative of this whole movement that we started.
Well, even that awful movie where there's all these well-meaning Caucasians that came in and made a revolution happen on Christmas Street.
So, and it's sad to say, but it's also cultural for us, but a lot of times we don't necessarily save and document our own history. We're not documented most of the time in the history books, so it's really for us to maintain our place and our role in history. So Black Pride was basically that first step in that movement of us trying to lay claim that this is the movement that we started and we want to still have a presence or celebrate in a way that meant something to us culturally.
And also, around the time that Black Pride started in around the mid to late 90s. So one of the first places, New York was one of the first places in Washington, D.C., was also one of the first places where Black Pride originated. And it was also out of the movement for more HIV/AIDS information in our communities, because not only were we being left out of the narrative in the larger gay culture, we were also being left out of the narrative when it came to HIV and AIDS. So the community saw a need for us to have more information how we were being affected by HIV and AIDS. And so that was another reason why Black Pride started.
Well, we have 5 days of events. Could you enlighten us on what some of the events are?
Okay, so in New York, it kind of takes a different approach than most states, and I think that most states, Pride is dominated by parties, club events. Not to say that in New York, obviously, we have clubs and lounges and stuff, so the parties and stuff will go on, but it's never been the dominant force of what drew people here. So we do focus a lot more on the cultural aspect of what we're celebrating. For me, when I took over, it was really important for me to put an emphasis on, Pride in itself should not be, I'm proud of the party. It should be, what am I celebrating? Right? What are the things about us that we're celebrating? Right? So I wanted to enforce history behind what Pride should be, history of us as LGBT people, that we have contributed to major parts and things in society, things that we necessarily don't talk about and take credit for. I also want to celebrate about the new things, that where we're going, and the things that we're also involved with. And then it was a way to engage the community to come back together. In other words, New York is so segregated. So to explain that, I mean, like, the bands party over here, the girls party over there, the transgenders party over there. So we're also segregated and we're all in our little worlds, but here's Black Pride. This is that one time of the year that we can actually come together. But we also have some celebrations that we can come out and I can go to a transgender event where I can celebrate my transgender brothers and sisters, and we have a senior event where we can show respect and where it all came from, and we can appreciate the seniors and stuff. So although we're celebrating the L, the G, and the B, and the T, it's that one time we can actually come together and recognize who we are as a community.
So we're not only creating mutual interaction among all groups, we're also kind of educating them, especially our youth who are sort of negative to a lot of that that's happened in the past. From awareness to our history, cultural events, we're blending everything in to provide a forum for not only money to celebrate those.
What's important that you bring, so much of, when I look at what you're doing, the events that you're having, film festival, having an open reception, which is going to be, and a lot of the events, looking here, and the operative word for most of the events is free.
Yes.
So it seems like what you're really wanting to do is bring the community out, bring them together, health and healing seminars, see here you also, and then you do have enough events where people can come together. Community, a white party, or white fair, let's call it, then you have the Heritage Ball, and then you have the Rumble Ball afterwards on the Sunday. So you have a lot of events that are going to keep people talking and stimulated.
So there's a couple things I want to say to that. One of the things is that it's very important to know that this is not for profit. So like the other Pride, again, it's club and party driven, and that tends to mean $50 admission fees and all the way up, and they live by all these celebrities and appearances, and they cost them thousands of dollars. And so therefore, a lot of those events sometimes aren't accessible to the average everyday person, right? And we are in tough times, and we recognize that. So if you're getting, which we do, we're majority 85% city and state funded, can profit off of the money that we're coming down from the community and coming out from taxpayers. So it's very important that all of the events basically be free. So the only events that you will see on it that is a charge may be one that we've partnered with maybe a party promoter or someone that's giving a day of fame or something of that sort. And even then, I'm always proud to say in New York, we've never gone above like a $20, even for the biggest parties. Now I've traveled everywhere from Miami to wherever, and you can go to some club and maybe $50 and $75. You've never ever experienced that. I know some people in the room that's my age and older never had that here in New York. So that's something I'm proud of. And everything here is definitely accessible to anyone that wants to celebrate. They can.
And one of the events I wanted to say is our Heritage Award Ceremony, which is a tradition here in New York. It's been happening now since I've been with Black Pride. Exactly. A few years back. And
that takes place on Friday.
And that takes place on Friday at the Schomburg, which in itself is a wonderful monument to us as people of African diaspora, right? And so the Heritage Awards really celebrate the lives of those people that are doing the work in the communities, that are, living their lives, their whole lives with courage, without any, just unapologetically Black and gay, right? And so we celebrate them, and we also celebrate our allies. So we've given awards to Dionne Warwick, we've given awards to Cheryl Lee Ralph, we've given awards to Senator Eric Adams. So we've given awards to those people that also support us. So I'm most proud of the Heritage Awards, because that is where we as a community shine, and we celebrate those that are, out there and every day living their lives and doing the work that behind the scenes that no one would really know about.
Now, if I wanted to find out more information about not only the Pride, the organization which supports the Pride, because it's one thing, it is not the profit, which I think is incredible. You really aren't gouging the public, you're being extreme. I have to say this because you're right, when you go to Miami, you better have another plan just for the parties and all the stuff that you're doing. And the idea that it's so much of everybody's inclusion. There's always someone trying to make it up. That's just we live in a capitalist world. But to see this is the greatest city in the world, to see that the greatest city in the world, where Stonewall and all these things really was the impetus for what happened around the rest of the world, that you guys are so mindful of the importance of offering as much as you can to as many people as possible.
And we also recognize that New York is also one of the most expensive cities in the world also. So we got thousands of people that are traveling here and trying to stay in hotels find ways to commute to get to all these events. It really wouldn't be practical to then turn around and ask them for $50 per event to go to. We really wouldn't have any people coming, I would think.
I mean, and if you figure the number of events, 5 events, between my ministry charges $60 per event, how practical that would be for everyone.
And especially for people who would like to take advantage of finding a brother, because a lot of this is fellowship. I mean, they use that notion in church. Let's face it, when a group comes together for a common good, it's fellowship. And a lot of this is just that you're forming young people who probably haven't seen each other for long this time, or they moved away, or they don't go out as much. This gives them an opportunity to come out and
It's like that sort of family reunion, and also, like I said, it's definitely educational. Again, she mentioned the Heritage Award ceremony. It's at the Schomburg for the very reason that the Schomburg holds New York City's LGBT archives, and it's one of the few places in the country that has an LGBT archives. So it's important for those kind of linkages and partnerships, so that a young person that's attending can always go back to the Schomburg, because now they know if they want to do research and find out who was the Black gay author, or who wrote this, or who did that. There's an actual place that they can go and do research.
Now, to find more information about this event and the organization, we can go to NYCBlackPride.com and also to Facebook, NYC Black Pride.
Yes, that's correct. And all the Facebook links to all today's stuff, which is Twitter, Instagram, and all the other
I want to thank you all so much, because this is your final meeting. And also you have a group of dedicated volunteers. It's less than 10 people in this room.
I want you to see, well, and it's a lot more people that's involved, but I always want to say Black Pride could not happen if it wasn't for people who take time out of their day to come and sit on the committee every week and help with the planning, the volunteers that are behind the scenes helping everything. It really, literally, is an expression, takes a village. It really takes a village. And so every year, I'm overwhelmed to say I thank everybody that comes out to participate and be a part of it. So to everybody in the room,
Yes, thank you all.
the diversity of the community, of the fact that, having women and men and transgender and however you decide to self-identify, everyone's welcome to participate.
Thank you.